I can't think of a landmass that humans have settled where we haven't attempted to introduce plants and animals favored by us. Unfortunately, here in Hawaii, introduced ocean plants have altered the ecosystems of reefs and nearshore areas.
Since the first contact with the West, the Hawaiian Islands have undergone tremendous changes. It's no secret that all of the islands, most obviously Oahu, barely resemble what the first Western explorers saw when they sailed here. Few native species of birds or plants are seen in populated areas. Fewer residents realize or recognize that our near-ocean waters have also undergone incredible change. Across large areas of Oahu, several alien marine plants have almost totally displaced the once common species of native algae.
So for you guys, do you guys know what we're collecting today? What we're looking at? Okay, well we have a table here that has the invasives and the natives. When you pull algae out, we want to try to just pull up the invasives so we have to sort less, and also so that way we don't harm the natives. So I asked that you guys take a look and know what we're looking for, and so that way if you pull it up and you have stuff that you don't need, you can just pull it up. Like literally the only things we need are these 3 species right here. We don't need anything else. So even if you have a question, do I need this? It's yes or no, depending if you have one of these.
We're doing this because this is one of those demonstration areas. We've had quantitative biomass collections from the 1960s that document the native community that was here before the alien species were introduced. We have opportunities to try and push this ecosystem out of its current trajectory, which is dominance by alien species, push it back to being a native community again, and with the payoff that we'll have reef fish and hopefully a healthier ecosystem as a result of getting our native species back there. So we all really appreciate you coming out today, me especially.
The work being done here by Dr. Celia Smith and her students have helped to increase awareness about the massive changes happening in Hawaii's nearshore ecosystems. Projects that are actively fighting our alien algae problems can trace their roots to this Waikiki area.
It's quite clear from the data that we have from my predecessor as well as from my own observations that the reef, by the time I came back as faculty member, had changed profoundly. We've lost our native endemic species, the limukala, the sargassum taxa that we have. These are plants that used to be nearly 1 meter in height. You have to push your way through them in order to swim in the reef water. And so to come back to that in the late 80s and see the water clear of these native species was breathtaking. We raised the issue of invasive species impacts, and Waikiki became ground zero for the study of what happens when a reef has had invasive species introduced. This assemblage of limu in that area had changed to the point where we have lost a vast majority of our big plants, the ones that are the kind that provide food for other fish and places for fish to hide. We'd lost those species, and what instead was the dominant over much of the reef from shore out to the reef crest is Gracilaria salicornia, which forms mounds that may be 10 centimeters in height and 1 meter across. This changed the reef profoundly because now there was no place for fish to hide. There was apparently food that no fish wanted to eat, and so the plants that were introduced by scientists there in front of the natatorium were growing without any regulation, without any check to keep them in balance with the ecosystem. And in the period after that, the DAR showed that the native reef fish assemblage started to change. Fish were disappearing from that area, and that signaled a wholesale shift in the ecosystem. These are the reasons why we came back to Waikiki to start a research program, as well as the beginning steps with our various partners, the Nature Conservancy and DAR, to begin developing procedures that would allow us to remove this alien invasive seaweed growth off of our reefs.